so there's Jerry Jones, who again is the owner of the football team, talking about defensive alignment and technique. It just doesn't, I mean, Domonique, it just doesn't happen anywhere else, right? There is no other NFL team in which the owner, you don't hear Arthur Blank after that game coming out there and talking about what they got wrong on the onside kick that wound up costing the Falcons a team. It's just Jerry, and he's just one of a kind.
The only reason why Jerry is not the head coach of that team is because he don't have enough time. Like, Jerry wants to be in the nitty-gritty details of talking to D linemen about their hand placement and all that ridiculous stuff. But, yeah, I'm not shocked by him saying it, but it's still funny.
That said, let's move to what he's actually talking about. RC, that's a team that is one crazy comeback away from being 0-2 and staring at a very tough game against Seattle this weekend. How do you assess the state of the Dallas Cowboys right now, 2 weeks into the season? Ryan?
You look at this team is undisciplined. This team almost looks unprepared, and they're lucky. And that's what they are. You go back to the first game, you go for it on 4th and 3 when you have an opportunity to tie the game up. That's on Mike McCarthy. When you look at some of the issues you have early on in the game with 4 turnovers, that's also on Mike McCarthy and not teaching or talking ball security. Now look at this defense. This defense, you come in and you bring in Mike Nolan. Mike Nolan is supposed to change what they are, who they are, but they haven't been great this season at all. You knew that there were going to be some new guys on the back end. You add to that linebacker issues with injuries and also up front, not getting the type of pressure you would want on a quarterback from a guy like DeMarcus Lawrence, who you made one of the highest paid players on your team. And so Jerry's just stating the obvious. He's stating the obvious that this team has a lot of work to do. But I don't know if some of that work, especially defensively, can be fixed by practice or can be fixed by reps. Some of it is just not having the people or not having the talent perform in some positions like you needed to.
Desmond, Dak Prescott has become one of those players that it feels like every game is a referendum on his entire career. So that was one of the best games he's ever played the other night. Threw for 450 yards, all those touchdowns, and a crazy comeback win. What do you think that night meant for Dak Prescott?
That night was huge for Dak Prescott. I mean, from a confidence standpoint alone, just imagine what that did, not only for him, but for his teammates and for people in that organization that might have been doubters about his ability to bring this team back from behind. Don't forget, guys, in 2019, the Cowboys, they were 0-9 in potential game-tying or go-ahead drives late in games against teams that are playoff-caliber teams. So when you can start off the season with a drive like that, a game like that, it does a tremendous amount for the team's confidence. And then guys in the front office who are looking at this quarterback say, I know he wants a big payday. He's playing under a franchise tag, but we don't believe him. Now they may start to become believers in Dak Prescott and what he can do as a quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys and as a leader of that organization. So I thought it was big from a confidence standpoint.
Well, one person who has always believed in Dak, certainly on this show, is Neek. And last week, and Domonique, I quoted you many times here and on my radio show talking about how you believe they need to call plays more aggressively, to call an offensive game as though they have a superstar quarterback. And the circumstances, because they fell so far behind on Sunday, sort of forced them to do that. Do you think they may have found something there? Do you think that's the offensive formula for Dallas going forward?
I hope so. I mean, I think they are a balanced team talent-wise on the offensive side of the ball. So I'm not saying completely abandon Zeke, but when you're going to throw the ball, trust him. He's going to turn it over sometimes, but he's going to make more plays than he's going to miss. And I think when you have a defense that you really can't trust necessarily, you need to go ahead and lean on that offense and not get far behind and take those chances. And if you're going to go for it on 4th down, go for it on 4th down with Dak Prescott. He has proven that he's a guy that you can rely on. So hand him the ball, be aggressive, let him take shots down the field, get the ball to CeeDee Lamb, because he, I think, might grow into be the most special player on that offense in the coming years.
Quickly, RC, is that the formula? What we saw from that offense in the second half, is that the way the Dallas Cowboys are going to win this season?
It doesn't matter what formula you have against the Atlanta Falcons, you're going to score points. But they were forced into that, and it worked. They were able to hit big plays, and Dak Prescott looked every bit of the franchise quarterback. Here is what I'll say. Even with that, Ezekiel Elliott still had 28 touches against the Atlanta Falcons. And so we did see the big plays, but there was still balance with this team and Kellen Moore's play calling, the offensive coordinator. And so if that's what they're going to do, if they're going to lead with Zeke and allow Dak Prescott to use these great wide receivers down the field, that's something I'm all for. I'm not with just abandoning the run and saying, let's go Warren Moon, run and shoot with the Houston Oilers. But if they can maintain some balance and allow Dak Prescott to use the play action pass for his success, I think that's a formula that could win for the Dallas Cowboys, because with this defense, they're going to need to score points. And we saw them score a ton of them against the Atlanta Falcons.
Absolutely. And you see the matchup this weekend at Seattle. That's one of those late afternoon games. That should be one of the really interesting games, not just of this weekend, but of the season. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.